This is an RIP for the late, great Alex Trebek. Passed away from stage 4 pancreatic cancer. He did 31 seasons, 8,200 episodes of Jeopardy. This man hosted the show between chemo and he fought. This is one of those people who was around all my life. He's one of the things that I remember from a kid to now. Somebody who was just always there. He was the Jeopardy host. And recently, I seen when the contestant wagered all his money except for $5 to tell Alex that we love you, and it was Devarv Garar, which was beautiful. I know some people are like, well, he wasn't, in a win, but that wasn't the point. Even if he did, his mindset, and he was there before, and he was a college student. It was just Alex told him about it, and that was the contestants. And that's what was on his mind, and he knew the answers, but instead of toiling over it, he was like, "I'm going to go for this," which started a hashtag movement. We love you, Alex, which was beautiful. You could hear Alex get a little choked up. A contestant learned English watching Trebek. I think it was Bert Thatcher, which it was so important for him to win and be there. And him and Alex shared tears because Alex Trebek didn't realize how deep he affected people. Even for myself, I tried to get smarter when I would watch Jeopardy at a level just to see if I could get those answers and stuff. And it was one of the things that made me journey on to try to push for. He was kind. He was known for his dry wit and humor. I remember him one time coming out and he was without pants to get on a joke with the champions because the champions said that they wanted to relieve uh, the tension, so they all were going to do the thing behind the podium with no pants, but they all chickened out but Alex. And he made sure everyone saw at the show that he was truly committed, where he had like boxers and socks on and his jacket, and it was great. Like that was an awesome moment. I actually remember that. And he wanted to spend his last moments on this world in a backyard swing with his wife Jean, and that's what he did. How beautiful is that? Just watching the horizon with the person that you love, that you committed your life to, and that's where you wanted your last moments. He was heartfelt, even for himself, which is just ironic that he talked about Cindy Stowell and had this deep emotional thing when he talked about her. She was the 6-day winner, where she too suffered previously before him from stage 4 cancer. And she donated the money to cancer research because she thought that if she could win, maybe that money could help, so people wouldn't go through what she went through. And if you ever get to YouTube it was an amazing tribute. But just so sadly for himself, he had to follow a few years later. He's a Canadian legend from Northern Ontario region. He started his career out with the CBC announcer. He put the work in with news coverage to like curling. You know, if you don't know, it's that ice sport with the thing where they like throw it and it slides. He's done panel shows, game shows, music hop, stars on ice, and such. Uh, Alan Thicke hosted and got hosted like a lot of different things, and because of what he was known for, he actually got Alex onto Wizard of Odds. And this guy wore many hats to make that show work because of all his previous experiences. He was on stuff like the Classic Concentration. He did High Rollers with Jokes and Charm. Like if you watch him on High Rollers, how it's like you've seen the same Alex Trebek, but it was different. Like some shows, if it was more about being serious, he knew how to be a chameleon to what fit the show, and it always felt natural. But if you ever look at an old episode of High Rollers, I think some of them are on YouTube. I've watched a couple episodes. You see he's very jokey, very witty, very warming, but yet Wizard of Oz, he was a little bit more precise. Um, he then hosted the $128,000 question, which was a sequel to the $60,000 question. And I know some people may not know that was a game, but they've heard the term where they're like, that's the $60,000 question or $1 million question. That's where that comes from. Alex hosted everyone, and then eventually later he landed the show at Jeopardy, as we saw. Jeopardy was a show that came back. There was one, I think, a host prior to it. But anyone who thinks of Jeopardy is synonymous with Alex Trebek. He is known for that. He knew how to put the humor in the right spots, to draw you in, yet still be very professional and poised, which is very hard to do. He balanced it enough that he was warm and entertaining, and he could do it, but didn't make it where it was so much joking that it threw off the show. He had the perfect balance every time. And other peers, other game show hosts. There was even like this documentary thing I watched. There's like they cut it out in an 8 minute segment on YouTube, but I actually watched the documentary with game show hosts because I'm me and I just like information on weird things. But they all like talk about Alex being the greatest host to like ever host, because if you go through his career, a lot of hosts have specific stuff. Like Alex was able to morph into whatever the show needed to be, yet still be himself, which is extremely difficult to do for a lot of people. Even wrestlers, when you see them try to go from heel to face, it doesn't always work. Like some of them can do both. AJ Styles, for example, can do both. But somebody uh, like the Miz, for example, he's a decent face, but he works better as a heel. He's easier to have people hate him. Things like that. Now, Alex said he wants to be remembered as a good man, a nice guy, and someone you looked at and went on to say, you know what? I like him. His last episode will air on Christmas Day. And I'm hearing that he actually did like a closing. So that one may be very powerful because you're watching someone who sadly passed away, who anytime you're watching Jeopardy right now, you're seeing his last moments, his final thoughts, and that one that airs for Christmas, and that's going to be deep. That's something he's going to share with us, his final gift to us, his final Jeopardy, if you will, on Christmas. Hashtag, we love you, Alex. Get ready to break out the tissues. Hey, thank you for visiting my channel. This is the Geek Protagonist. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Please, it'll really help me out in the channel if you actually share these videos. If you like what I'm doing, please hit that bell notification. Hit it, click. This way you won't miss any of my videos. Also, there's a thing on there that says personal and all. Hit the all. This way you'll get them every time for the notifications. I'm trying to, grow, trying to do commentary about what's going on. And I want to thank you again. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay real. This is the Geek Protagonist. I'm out, and I'll see you.